Welcome back, everyone, to another Coach Blaker's podcast. If you don't know who I am Coach Blaker, the Black Baker, and I've been coaching professionally for going on 9 years. I do it as a living. This is my job. Coaching is my job. Riot has sucked my soul for almost 9 years. It's crazy. I thought of making the topic of today's podcast is how to escape each elo, but not just elo. The elo with the role that you play. There's a lot of similarities in every single season of players being, I guess you can say, quote unquote, hard stuck or, stagnating, things like that. And there's a lot of similarities. So even though the season changes, there's different champions and whatnot, sometimes there's still connections between each rank. So hopefully I could tell you what usually has people sticking around in that same rank and get you climbing. The easiest way, though, was get coaching. CoachBlaker.com. I'm sorry, I plugged my own stuff. CoachBlaker.com if you guys would like to have a VOD review with Coach, or an actual coaching session, getting down into the nitty gritty and helping you boost the success in your ranked climb. If you do climb in preseason, you are going to have a better time next season. Let me get this out the way. A lot of people think preseason doesn't matter. It matters. Do not throw your preseason away. Don't do it. Play properly, play normally. If you're a gold 4, you ended gold 4, and you climb to like platinum, you'll be placed in gold 1, gold 2, and you'll easily get to platinum within a few games, maybe even just after your placements. Why would you not want to do that? Don't slack off in preseason, because when the real season rolls around, every single season players get better. So if you're like diamond in season 4, when season 5 hit, you're probably not diamond anymore. So remember that. If you slack off preseason and then start playing season 12, and those new generation of players come, they're going to kick your butt. So stay prepared. Anywho, that was a lot. 2 minutes is a long introduction. Yeah. I always start the podcast off with a quote. So let me go ahead and bring up a quote here. This quote is by Albert Einstein. Smart man. More the knowledge, less the ego. Lesser the knowledge, more the ego. Let me say it one more time. More the knowledge, lesser the ego. Lesser the knowledge, more the ego. What does that mean? That means the more knowledge someone has, the less ego that they'll have. The less knowledge someone has, the more their ego has to show its ugly head. You see a lot of this, especially in solo queue in general. This is why I thought this would be a really good quote. A lot of players feel like they know a lot, and then when I coach them, they don't really know as much as they thought they knew. And of course, that's when they start dropping that ego and they start learning. Remember, you don't know everything. You don't know everything. Okay, don't gain that knowledge and less that ego. You'll climb like a monster. You'll be a maniac in solo queue. You'll terrorize. You'll be playing with pros. Okay, anyway, let's start off. So we're going to start with iron. Iron and bronze are not going to have roles, and you'll see why once I say the tip. So the tip to get out of iron: understand the game. It's that simple. Just understand the game and you will be able to climb out of iron like easily. A lot of what happens is players that are in iron don't officially understand the game. And what will happen is they treat it like another game that they've played. They don't really understand how MOBAs work and things like that. Understand the game. Know what a MOBA is. Just look it up in Google or even just look it up on YouTube. How do you play a MOBA? What is a MOBA? That right there would just skyrocket you to bronze. Easy. So just understand how the game works, understand the fundamentals, understand like items. You don't have to know everything in depth. It doesn't matter. You don't have to know that this item gives me 20 mana and 5 ability haste, and it's very good for my... You don't got to know all that. You just got to know how the game works. I got to hit the minions. I got to hit the towers. That's all. Just know how the game works and you'll be good. In bronze, understand your role and your champion. Understand how to play them early, mid, and late game. To get out of bronze is very, very easy once you understand your champion and once you understand your role. But you need to understand them in all stages of the game, not just early game, not just mid game, not just late game. If you really want to get out of bronze, you're going to have to understand all 3 of those. And this is where you need to pick your role, and this is where you need to pick your champion or champions, 2 or 3, that you will climb with. If you don't do that, you're going to be having a hard time getting out of bronze. And you really have to understand that even though the game isn't a win, I failed somewhere early, mid, or late. Because if you play early, mid, and late, I won't say perfectly, but on a silver level, you should be silver like that. So there's something about your early, mid, or late game where you make one mistake and it might cost the game, especially in a season like this. But luckily, because you're in bronze, you can make about 1, 2, 3, 4 mistakes and the game probably won't be over because there's a lot less persistence of closing things out. So that's what I recommend if you are bronze. Understand your role, pick one that you really like, and understand your champion. Pick one that you really like, early, mid, and late. Laning phase, after laning phase, when everybody almost has all their items. Those are the 3 things. Okay. Silver. All right, now we're going to start breaking things into role. So silver. For top and mid, be able to consistently win lane without help from your jungler or support, or whatever, anybody. Be able to literally consistently win that lane. So it doesn't matter if you're countered, whatever. Counters don't matter. Especially in lower elo, people think counters matter. Don't pick a champ you don't know how to play versus someone who plays their champ 100 times. You're not going to win. Play your champ and literally learn how to play versus those quote-unquote counters. If you're better than that player, it doesn't even matter if it's a counter. You're telling me if you're silver and you pick a counter versus a challenger or a pro player, you'll win? Doesn't work like that. Same exact concept. If you're good at your champ, nobody's going to beat you. If you can consistently win your lane by yourself, gold is right there. That's all it takes for top and mid. Just always win your lane. Like when I say win, I don't mean go even. I don't mean win a little bit. You gotta win. Win in higher CS. You don't have to stomp the player by like killing them over and over, but like that's a plus, right? Be able to just really stomp that laner. You'll get out of silver like that. As far as jungle, you have to learn how to gank effectively. A lot of times silver players tend to not know really when to gank. Either they'll spam gank and pray it works, or they do go for a gank and there's no way you're getting that kill at all and you just end up losing. Not losing like losing the game, but just losing time, or, you know, maybe the other jungler shows up, or maybe they 2v1 and you die. It's not anything like that. You don't want to be baited by your team, by pings, to go gank. You need to know what a gank looks like and you need to know that the gank will work. Otherwise, you don't go for it because it won't work. That's something that you have to learn how to do. And once again, gold be right there. Not wasting time just randomly ganking people. For ADC, farming effectively. I mean, farming properly, like that's just huge. You have to know how to farm. Even if you're not trading, as long as you just sit back, kind of do nothing, and just farm and get like 20, 30 CS more than the enemy laner, when it comes time to like actually fight, you're going to be massive. And a lot of times, especially in silver, they'll just give you free kills and just run it into you anyway. So like you're going to be really farmed up and you're going to have kills. So that means that fed Zed, that fed Talon, that fed Aatrox, that fed Riven, they won't be able to even fight you. You got free kills and your farm is higher than everybody's in the game. It's easy. Once you do that, you kill everybody. Doesn't matter what AD carry you are. Okay? So remember, get that farm up when you're playing. All you got to do is hit about 75, 70. Get about that. You straight in silver, okay? And then you just killing everybody. The problem is you don't get that farm and you start fighting, and the time that you need to be farming, you're respawning, and then you get back on the map and you're fighting again, and you don't really get a chance to farm because you're constantly fighting. Cut that out. Get that farm. Enemies are gonna walk into you, get them kills, be massive, easy clap for ADC. As far as support goes, keep an eye out for threats before trading. All of the time, supports like to fight, especially Leonas. I mean, I don't know. That's like one of the champions that just don't have an off button. They will fly in on repeat and don't care about who's near. What you want to think about before you go for a trade, no matter which support you are, is you want to know like where the mid laner is, where the top laner is, where the jungler is. Like those are the things that you need to be looking at as a support, because the support usually runs that lane. So you need to be paying attention to the threats. And this, once again, just goes from mid to late game as well. Before you do anything, you need to be paying attention to the threats. Once again, as I said about these tips, sometimes players are in higher elos that don't do this, but they're just really good at something else. And sometimes players are in lower elos that do this, but they just are really poor at something else, right? That's where coaching comes in. But mainly, a lot of what I see in silver play is like there's lack of regard for what's going to happen if I do it right now. If you just kind of think about that, you're saving 2 lives, not just 1. Because if you go in not knowing where somebody is, you die, your ADC dies, that's 2 deaths. When you could just wait for a second, the jungler's over there, got it. Boom, let's go. Easy clap. Okay? Let's move on to gold. So gold, the shininess. So for gold, for the top, all right, gold top laners, how to utilize your ignite or your teleport properly and when to take them. A lot of the times I'll see players just take ignite all the time because they're like, well, everybody does it, like Garen's, for instance, or like Darius with Ghost, stuff like that. A lot of people are just going to default take whatever summoner spell most people take it on, and then don't use it properly. You're taking ignite as like Jax into a champ you just don't ever beat, and therefore you're wasting a summoner spell. And if you die, you just lost a lot. Whereas if you die with teleport, you come back like that, you don't lose anything. Although you did die, you're not losing as much as you would if you had ignite or whatever other spell that you had. Same thing for teleport users. You don't just need to teleport back to your lane. You need to understand, like, okay, I could teleport bot, I could teleport mid, I could teleport here, I could do this, I could do that. Understanding how to use your ignite, understanding how to use your ghost, understanding how to use your teleport, and understanding when to take those summoner spells is a very, very huge part of making it to platinum as a gold player, as a top laner, okay? As far as jungle goes, pathing effectively. Gold players tend to not know how to path when it comes to jungle. You want to know how to path, where to path, when to path, and things like that. You need to know, okay, well, I know that I don't want to run into the Shaco because I'm playing Master. You could probably kill Shaco. Bad example. I don't want to run into the Jin Zhao playing Karthus. So why would I start red when he starts blue and we meet up at top side? Why would I do that? You need to understand that, okay, I'm going to start top because this guy on the other team is starting bot. That way, when he's top and he's looking for me, I'm going to be bot and he can't find me. That type of pathing effectively. Or I know that bot lane is going to die at level 2 because it's a Leona and a Draven. I need to be down there by level 2 so that I can prevent that from happening and possibly pick up 2 kills. Pathing effectively is huge when it comes to getting to platinum as a jungler. The next one here is a mid lane. So a gold mid laner. Look for chances to roam and rotate to help your team. Now, sometimes we might confuse roaming with rotations. Roaming is I push my lane up, I set it up properly, I'm good to go do something and come back. Rotations are, you need my help, here I come. As a mid laner, you should understand which ones to go to and which ones to not go to, okay? Sometimes you may roam, like say top, and you don't get anything, and you come back and you might have lost 2 or 3 CS. Understand what impact you'll have before you make it while roaming, and understand the impact you'll have before you go for your rotation. Oh, my Master Yi is getting killed by Jin Zhao, and I'm playing, I don't know. I'm not thinking properly. I'm playing Azir, and it's pre-6. What are you going to do? Go say hi. You gotta let that guy die. You don't have, you can't. You don't win the 2v2. So understand the impact you'll make when you're roaming and understand the impact you'll make when you're rotating. So that way you're not wasting time just leaving lane randomly, not getting anything out of it to come back and be like, I'm behind. Okay? That's how you would get to platinum as a gold player. Next up is AD carry. So one thing about AD carries are, especially in this elo, is they get in that mindset where they don't really want to participate in anything. They kind of want to just farm all the time. And they farm, and then they'll lose. Or what's going to happen is they'll get to a point and then they say, I didn't even get to play the game. Even though all I did was sat in lane and farmed. Having more farm does not mean you'll be able to win the game, especially in gold, trying to make it to platinum. You've got to do a little bit more. You got to make sure that you have a lot more presence in the game. As an AD carry, you need to try to participate in as many fights as possible. Learn what fights you can be in, learn what fights you can't be in. If your jungler's in trouble, try to rotate, see what's up, see if you can fight that fight. If he's doing dragon, just go with him. Do the dragons real quick so he's not solo in it. Like, really be a part of a lot of these interactions with your team, neutral objectives, and the enemy. And that way you'll get a feel for like what you can and can't go to, and that way you understand like how to actually do it. Because once you figure that out, most of the time, especially in gold, you'll just get free kills by rotating. All you gotta do is move. Especially Jhin players. Like, Jhin players are usually always fed because they don't have to go that far to assist a hand. They just ult or they press W, someone's locked up, and then they get free kills, or they just Gale Force a little bit close, and then they get the free kill. That's pretty much the same concept you want with every AD carry. I want to try to go so I can see if I can do anything. Maybe I can help him. Okay, I can help him. I can get a free kill out of this. Boom, I'm fed. And I didn't even do nothing. All I do is rotate to someone being stupid. Like, that's the important part. So be a part of as many fights as possible. Early, mid, late, as many fights as possible. Get used to actually like scrapping. Okay, it's very, very important. As a support for gold, look to start roaming a little bit more and get creative with vision. So as a support, you want to start being a little bit more creative with your vision, so that way you are able to spot a lot of these junglers, especially ones like Evelynn, Shaco, Twitch, you know, the ones, the Kayn, the ones that are really, really fast, or the ones that like take really weird paths to get to you. Really start being a lot more creative with your wards, where you're placing them when objectives are spawning and stuff like that, places they probably won't scan, places you'll know that you'll see people walking through. And then also, just like I said, looking to roam a little bit more. Leave your lane a little bit more often. It's okay. Understand, like, okay, what if my ADC dies? Well, they died. Okay, so did I leave at the wrong time? Maybe I didn't. One of the big things that I always tell support players is every time you die or every time you back, walk down the middle of the lane to see if you can help mid. Mid is not up there. See if you can help top, mid, or go back to bottom. Either way, you're kind of forcing yourself to start roaming. You're getting into the habit of doing it. And eventually you'll start roaming. Once you're in lane, you'll just start leaving lane and trying to go help mid when you see the opportunity arise. And then you'll go back to bot lane. Roaming as a support is a huge way to start climbing into platinum, especially as a support. But don't overdo it. Don't roam so much you're not even laning pretty much and you're falling behind. You really have to, like I said, learn when you can and can't roam, so you're not putting yourself at a major disadvantage. For platinum, and this is the last one up here. So platinum top players, learn when and how to split push, flank, and team fight. A lot of the times platinum players lack the ability to do one of the three, and being able to do all three consistently well will easily slam you into diamond. Like, easily slam you into diamond. Jungle. Focus on making plays around objectives and paying more attention to lane priority. What does this mean? I'm playing Xin Zhao. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. I'm playing Xin Zhao and I'm going into the enemy jungle, but all my laners are picking champions that just automatically lose lane. But I'm invading. What's going to happen? The laners are going to rotate to you way faster than your laners can, and you die. Think about your lane priority. Also playing around objectives. I'm going to go for a gank because that gank will lead into Dragon. I'm going to go for a gank top because that gank will lead into Rift Herald. You can solo them, don't get me wrong. But if you could just make a play to do that, it's way quicker. And you also kill two birds with one stone. Right? Or I'm going to gank a lane and then I'm going to go into the jungle. I'm going to gank mid. And then now the mid laner is dead. I can go invade. And that means that their mid laner can't rotate to me. Little stuff like that. Learning how to play around things like that will, like I said with the other roles, skyrocket you to diamond. It's really understanding when you can and can't do something and less about brute forcing, okay? Next, mid lane platinum. So learn how to side lane and rotate for group objectives. This is something that's huge that I don't see a lot of mid laners do. A lot of times once we're done laning in mid, we're not really going to the side lane. And going to a side lane is different from split pushing. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes people do start split pushing as a mid laner and they're not around for the objectives. When you're going to side lane, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're kind of just going to that lane to shove it up. You're going to that lane to add pressure on the map. And then you rotate back to your team if something breaks out. Because what's going to happen is the enemy team is going to start looking to send someone to rotate to that lane, wherever it's top, bottom, whatever. And then you have a 5v4 or you have a 4v3. They lost one player because of your push on that side lane. It's very, very crucial. You want to side lane when you're about to do objectives. You want to side lane when you're about to fight and you know one's going to break out. That way, especially if you lose, they don't take tower after tower after tower because all the waves are shoved up into you. You pushed them out, so then therefore, hey, what you're going to get? You killed us all, but like you don't get as much as you would have gotten. You know what I mean? So understanding that type of wave build up mid to late game after your laning phase is really, really huge. And then learning when to just once again group up for those objectives. So they're kind of in tandem. You can't really do one without the other, okay? And then for AD carry, platinum AD carry, how to get out of platinum with AD carry. Learn how to manage the wave and manipulate it properly. A lot of times AD carries just kind of perma shove and just look to poke all the time. But you can get a lot done if you just manage the wave properly and just chill. If you've ever seen like a challenger AD carry or something like that smurfing, you'll realize what the enemy can't do with the lane because they don't know how to unfreeze it. They don't know how to manipulate it themselves. So they're at a huge disadvantage. This is something that if you can learn this and really put it to good use, especially as your AD carry and as what your support wants to do. Like, let's say if I'm playing Tristana. Okay, Tristana is a hard example. We'll just say Jhin. So I'm playing Jhin and my AD or my support's Leona. I know if I freeze that in front of my tower, she can go in and they have to run all the way back to their tower. Versus if I perma shove it into him, Leona can never take a fight because she'll be always under the enemy tower. So understanding that type of situation is going to be how you easily get leads as ADC and then easily bring that into a close win once you start learning how to master that. Then as far as support for Platinum, learn when to trade and how to trade. So this is where you get to be a big boy, big girl. This is where you're going to be able to not only lead your trades, but you're going to be able to understand when to trade and you're going to be able to understand how to do it. What does my champion usually do when they're trading? How can I use that with my ADC? Like, how can we synergize our trades? When you're playing Leona, I don't know why I keep bringing her up, but a lot of players that play Leona will start with E, even though she's in face range. They will literally E. And what that does is you're just snaring them, allowing the 2v2 to still happen because you did not stun them. Does that make sense? So this is going to be hard to articulate with my hands, but if I'm here, my ADC is here, they're there, and their ADC is there. If I snare, they can still auto. We're still 2v2ing. You don't do anything. If you're already in their face, hit them with the stun, and then combo with the E when they start walking out of range, and then combo with another stun, bam, bam, shama-lam, you know? Really understand the use of your abilities and use them properly, not just in laning phase, but also in the mid to late game. Something huge that I do not see supports do, no matter what type of support you are. Understand your combos, understand your ability uses, understand when to do it, understand how to do it. Easy clap, Cheeks will be like that the whole entire game. I'm just saying, I'm sorry for the visual. That is the last rank that I'll do, mainly because once players hit Diamond, usually they just stop playing League in general. They'll probably play Ranked on occasion, but they usually I beat the game. If you guys do want to see how to get out of Diamond, how to get out of Master, how to get out of Grandmaster, I could do that too. But like I said, most of my clientele are just players Diamond and below. I do coach Masters, Grandmasters, and Challengers, but they're not as frequent. Why? The population of Masters, Grandmasters, and Challengers are very, very small. It's like less than 2%, right? Whereas the whole game, the other ranks there's a lot more people like in those ranks. But if you guys want to see that, let me know. I can make something like that for you guys. But as I said, I think this will be solid for everybody that is below Diamond. So once again, if you guys would like a coaching session, CoachBlaker.com, link in the description below. You can go ahead and book one of the 3 options that I have. You'll also have frequently asked questions. And of course, if you guys would like to, on my site, it'll tell you, you can add me on Discord and we can discuss coaching. You know, sometimes people don't know if they want coaching. Sometimes people don't know if coaching is for them. And if you feel like, you know, you want to talk to me for a little bit, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we can go over like what's going on if you need it and stuff like that. We can come down to conclusion. Why do they got to be doing that right now during my video podcast? I'll end it before they make any more noise. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hope this helps you guys. If we can reach, like I said, 20 likes, I'll go back to doing my is it clickbait videos and stuff like that. If we can reach 30 likes, I will be doing some like game commentary where I'm playing the game and you guys can, and I'll be talking about the decision makings that I'm having. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Until next time, you know what I always say, thank you for what? Approaching this like a coach.